Imagine you are a very important person. You live in a giant house with 30 rooms. You have special bodyguards who follow you everywhere to keep you safe. People bow when you walk by, and you feel like you are the star of the whole world. Now, imagine that one day, your family tells you that you have to leave that big, beautiful house. They tell you that you are not the star anymore. Instead of a mansion, they want you to live in a regular farmhouse in the middle of a field. This is exactly what is happening to a man named Prince Andrew. He was once a very powerful prince, but now he is learning that even being a prince does not mean you can keep your secrets forever. Today, we are going to talk about a very big secret that shook the whole family of kings and queens. It is a story about how doing wrong things can make you lose everything you have. We are going to look at the moments he tried to hide the truth and how the news reporters finally found out what was really going on. Get ready to learn about a farm, a mansion, and a man who is very sad to see his old life go away. The story that made the whole royal family feel very shaky is finally coming to an end tonight. For a long time, there was a man named Prince Andrew who was protected by special guards. These guards were there to keep him safe from harm. But now, people are asking those guards to come forward and tell what they saw. They want the truth to come out into the light. It seems that the family did not realize how big the problem really was until right now. People used to think that Sarah Ferguson, who was married to Andrew, was just a silly but very kind woman. They thought she had a good heart, but then they saw that she was not being honest. She was using her special position to make a lot of money, and she was not being truthful about it. This was a giant shock to everyone who watched the royal family. It was a secret that had been covered up for a long time. Now, the people who write the news are being very brave. They are telling everyone what happened because they are not scared anymore. They are finding new things every day that show what was hidden. Prince Andrew is the kind of person who likes to do what he wants, even when people tell him it is a bad idea. He often ignores the good advice that his friends and family give him. He even went to visit a person who was in big trouble with the law all by himself. He thought he could get away with it, but everyone found out. People are now looking at him very closely. There was a special moment caught on a camera where it looks like he finally realized that his time in the palace was over. The doors are shutting on him and he cannot go back inside. People who saw this happen said it was a very heavy and sad scene to watch. It was hard to see a man who was once so powerful look so defeated. For many years, Prince Andrew was not just a name. He was a very important person who everyone respected. He walked through the big palace like he owned it. He felt like he would always belong there. But now, he is looking at a very different future. The big change happened when he went to visit a quiet farmhouse. This house is called Marsh Farm, and it is hidden deep inside a large piece of land called the Sandringham Estate. This was not just a normal walk through a house. It was a moment where he had to face the truth. This small house became a symbol. It showed him where he might have to live for the rest of his life. He was not happy about this at all. He showed up thinking he was just going to look at some small changes to the house. He did not expect it to feel like he was losing his importance. On a piece of paper, the house sounded okay. It had 5 bedrooms and new rooms with modern things, but the moment he stepped inside, everything felt different. People who were there said he looked very upset and tense. He did not like what he saw. Some people even said he almost started yelling because he was so mad. It was clear that this moment was much harder for him than anyone thought it would be. Almost every news story says the same thing. Andrew looked very uncomfortable. If you understand what Marsh Farm really means, his grumpy face makes sense. For many years, the big newspapers have been watching him. They did not just see one big scandal. They saw a slow and steady change. Bit by bit, Andrew has been pushed out of the bright lights. He lost his titles, which are his special royal names. He lost his jobs. And now he is even losing his house. Moving to a new address is not just about a new bed and a new kitchen. It is about losing your power and your respect. To understand why he felt so bad, you have to look at the house he is leaving behind. He lived in a place called Royal Lodge for more than 20 years. It was a giant mansion with 30 rooms. That is a lot of space for one person. It was a way for him to show everyone that he was still important. Living there kept him close to all the big royal decisions. Now think about the difference between a 30-room mansion and a regular farmhouse. It is a very big difference that you cannot ignore. This farmhouse is not a grand estate near the center of power. It sits miles and miles away from the main palace. It is out in the quiet countryside. Even though the house has better security now and looks a little bit nicer, it is not the same as Royal Lodge. Andrew knows this very well. One house stood for being in charge and having control. The other house feels like a quiet step back from the world. The farmhouse had been empty for a very long time. People are working very hard right now to fix it up so that someone can live in it. When Andrew went to visit, he looked at everything very carefully. He looked at the walls, the lights, and even the size of the rooms. He wanted to see where all his furniture would go. It looked like a normal check, but it was really a prince saying goodbye to his old life. The details about the house being fixed up have made people talk even more. Some people are afraid to complain about Andrew because he used to be the queen's favorite son. They were scared of his attitude. But now, things are changing. There were reports of big trucks coming to the house to get rid of bugs. There were also talks about the ground getting too much water because the house is in a rural area. These are normal problems for a house in the country, but they seem very strange for a royal prince. This contrast between his old life and his new life is why everyone is watching so closely. Andrew does not want to accept this change. He wants to stay where he is. But the world is moving on without him. Moving trucks have been seen outside his old mansion. This shows that the change is really happening. He has to hand over his keys very soon. Just think about what that means. A man who was a symbol of the royal family is giving up the home that made him feel important. This move could be the real end of his influence. Until the new farmhouse is ready, he will stay in a tiny place called Wood Farm Cottage. This was a house where Prince Philip used to stay when he retired. It is much smaller than what Andrew is used to. This temporary home is just another sign that he is being moved away from the center of attention. He's being moved away from Windsor and London. Over the years, his role has faded away. It was done step by step. His military titles are gone, and his honorary jobs are gone too. The palace even said that he made very big mistakes in how he acted. They also said they felt sorry for the people who were hurt by his bad friends. Andrew says he did nothing wrong, but the royal system has already decided to change his path. His time as a working royal is basically over. Now he has to live in a farmhouse far away from everyone. It is not just his work that is changing. His personal life is changing too. For a long time, he lived with Sarah Ferguson, even though they were not married anymore. It was a very unusual setup for the royal family. They shared a giant house and stayed friends. But now that he is leaving that house, people wonder if they will still live together. There are even rumors that Andrew might leave the country entirely. Some people think he might move to a place called Bahrain because he has business friends there. If he moves there, Marsh Farm might just be a place for him to stay for a little while. Standing there and looking at a simple farmhouse made the truth very real for him. He no longer has many people on his side. King Charles promised their mother that he would take care of Andrew, but it seems like nobody in the family really likes him anymore. The size of his life has gotten much smaller. He is not as important as he used to be. Every news report says that this was a moment that showed everything. It showed that Andrew is not ready to accept this new life. Royal Lodge was more than a home. It was proof that he was still in the inner circle. That means he was part of the group that makes all the big choices. But Marsh Farm tells a different story. It tells him that he is on the outside now. As the royal family changes under new leaders, people wonder what Andrew will do. Will he be happy living a quiet life on a farm, or will he try to find a way to be important again? Royal history shows that these stories are never simple. The visit to the farm might have looked awkward, but it showed a much deeper shift. This has been building for years. Step by step, the man who once walked with confidence has been moved further away from power. Every move has been a clear signal. The distance is growing and the control is getting tighter. People want to keep him in a small space where he cannot cause any more trouble. Royal Lodge was like a shield for him. It kept him close to the center of the family. Being close to Windsor meant he still looked like he belonged, but the farm is different. It is miles away from the action. It is hidden in the countryside where people will not see him every day. This kind of distance speaks very loudly. It shows how far he has fallen. In the royal world, it is about where you live and who you are near. Andrew's new house shows that he is not near the center of power anymore. It is very sad when you compare it to how he used to live. There was a time when he traveled all over the world. He went to big parties and met powerful people in business and politics. He was known as one of the Queen's most famous sons. He had a lot of influence, but that image is gone now. After people found out about his bad friends, everything changed very fast. The pressure from the public and the media did not stop. It only got stronger. People were very upset about the secrets and how Andrew was being protected. But now, the public knows the truth. The book that came out in August told many secrets, and more news has come out since then. Buckingham Palace made a move that changed his whole future. Andrew had to step back from his duties, and he never really came back. At first, people thought it might just be for a little while. They thought things would go back to normal. But that did not happen. Instead, more things were taken away. His titles disappeared and his military roles were gone. Even the groups he helped started to leave him. His identity was breaking apart. Moving from a mansion to a farmhouse is the clearest sign of this. Many people believe this was not just about a house. It was about changing the royal family. The family is trying to be more modern and honest. They want everyone to see that they are responsible and follow the rules. Pushing Andrew out of the spotlight is a big part of that plan. It was done through small, steady moves over a long time. A title was taken away here and a job was taken away there. Finally, a house was taken away. That is why his visit to the farm was so important. Standing there was about facing his new reality. His place in the royal system has changed forever. There is now a giant gap between him and the rest of the family. A big question is still waiting for an answer. People think Andrew and Sarah are in a lot of trouble. They think people are waiting to give them one last knockout blow. This means they might lose even more than they already have. Will Andrew accept this quiet life, or will he keep trying to find a way back in? He might try to fix his image and his influence, but the royal family has already moved forward without him. Sometimes these stories do not end quietly. Sometimes they change and come back when you least expect it. But right now, the image of a prince standing in front of a regular farmhouse says everything. It is a moment that feels very heavy and very real. It is impossible to ignore. Whether the farm becomes a peaceful place for him to hide or a symbol of his failure depends on what happens next. Is he ready to accept that he is no longer at the center of the royal world? This is the final question. If you thought this story was interesting, you should tell your friends about it. You can like the video and subscribe to see more. We want to hear what you think in the comments. Do you think he will be happy on the farm, or will he try to make a comeback? Let's talk about it together. Think about how it would feel to have everyone in the country talking about your mistakes. It would be very hard. Prince Andrew has to deal with this every single day. He used to be a hero to some people because he was a prince and he was in the military. But now, those people feel let down. They feel like he broke a promise to be a good person. This is why the royal family has to be so tough on him. They need the people to trust them. If they let one person do bad things, then people might think the whole family is bad. That is why Prince William and King Charles are making these hard choices. They are trying to save the future for the next kings and queens. The royal family is like a big team. Everyone has a job to do. When one person on the team stops following the rules, the whole team can lose. Andrew was a player who stopped following the rules. Now he is being told he cannot play on the team anymore. He has to sit on the bench, and the bench is a farmhouse far away. It is a very long way from the palace where he started. His story is a lesson for everyone. It shows that no matter how much money you have or how fancy your name is, you still have to be a good person. If you are not honest, you will eventually lose the things that matter most. As we watch the moving trucks take away his things, we can see that a chapter of history is closing. The old way of doing things is gone. The royal family is trying to be better for the world. They want to be a family that people can look up to again. They are cleaning up their house, and that includes moving people like Andrew to the outside. It is a big change, but it might be the only way for them to stay important. We will keep watching to see what happens next. The world of princes and princesses is full of drama, and this story is one of the biggest ones yet. Thank you for listening to this story about Prince Andrew and his new home. Remember to be kind and honest in your own life so you never have to face a day like this. Imagine the quietness of that farmhouse at night. There are no city lights and no loud parties. It is just the sound of the wind and the birds. For someone who loved the noise of the palace, this will be very different. Maybe he will find some peace there, or maybe he will just feel lonely. Only he knows what is in his heart. But the rest of the world sees a man who has had to learn a very hard lesson. We see a family that is trying to do the right thing, even when it hurts. This is the reality of the House of Windsor today. It is a place of big changes and tough rules. Every time you see a picture of a giant castle, remember that it is not always a happy place. Sometimes there are sad stories hidden behind those thick stone walls. Prince Andrew's story is one of those sad ones. It is a story of a fall from a very high place, but it is also a story about the truth coming out. People are glad that the truth is finally being told. They are glad that the people who were hurt are being heard. This is the most important part of the whole story. The truth is more important than any mansion or any title, and that is something we should all remember. So as we finish, think about the choices you make every day. Think about how they affect the people around you. Even a prince has to answer for his choices. That is a very powerful thought. It makes us all equal in a way. No one is above the rules, not even a royal prince. That is the message the palace is sending to the world. They are saying that they care about what is right more than they care about their own family members. It is a brave thing for a family to do. It shows that they are ready for the future and they want to be a part of a better world. Thank you again for watching our breakdown of this royal drama. We hope you learned something new and interesting. The world of kings and queens is always changing, and we are here to help you understand it all. Don't forget to share your thoughts with us. We love to hear from you and see what you think about these big events. Until next time, keep watching the news and stay curious about the world around you. There is always a new story waiting to be told, and we will be here to tell it to you. Goodbye for now, and have a wonderful day. The moving trucks are almost done, and the farm is ready. A new life is starting for Prince Andrew. Whether he likes it or not, the world is watching. We will see if he can find a way to be a better person in his new home. We will see if the royal family can stay strong without him. It is a journey that is just beginning, and we are all invited to watch as it unfolds. Stay tuned for more updates and more stories from the palace. There is never a boring day when you are following the royal family. Take care and see you in the next video.